The issue of corruption again takes center stage as the Presidential Advisory Council Against Corruption and the National Assembly convene a conference to brainstorm on how to tackle the problem.
Distinguished senators and
the Vice President, who declared the conference open, laments the state of corruption in Nigeria.
Corruption is ultimately a fatal scourge. Many even argue that it is a crime against humanity, given the fact that in many countries, including ours, it is largely responsible for the abject poverty of the majority and the massive fatalities of the most vulnerable in our society.
A former director of the Kenya Anti-Corruption Commission, in a keynote address, recommends severe sanctions to deter corrupt persons.
Many African countries would have realized great economic and political growth, but such growth has been stunted because of corruption. Today, many of us know that the 50-odd African countries combined have a GDP that is lower than many European countries.
The chairman of the Presidential Advisory Committee Against Corruption berates the legislature for its failure to fight corruption, just as the president of the Senate advises the federal government to respect the rule of law.
The current low esteem in which the legislature, particularly the National Assembly, is held, arises not from lack of legislative primacy, but by its exhibition of negative values and practices grossly against the interests of Nigeria and Nigerians.
I will not end my remarks without commenting on the need for every authority under our Constitution to abide by decisions of the court made within jurisdiction. This is the only way to preserve law and order, maintain the rule of law, and an essential ingredient for the survival of our nascent democracy.
The two-day conference will, among other subjects, examine the role of the legislature as a champion of anti-corruption reforms, reform of the anti-corruption legal framework, and compliance with international standards.